He told me in a previous phone call there is no price tag for his mass deportation plan. And yet, by some estimates, it will cost as much as $88 billion per year just to deport 1 million people. Are you, is Congress, prepared to support and pay for President-elect Trump's mass deportation plan, no matter what the cost, no matter how expensive?
Kristen, I cannot think of a better dollar-for-dollar investment than to restore the security and the safety of the country. We've had a wide-open border for 4 years, and millions upon millions of illegal persons. We have dangerous illegals in the country, criminals who have already committed crimes here, violent crimes against American citizens. The best thing we can do is return those people from where they came. And I think the American people understand that. I saw a New York Times poll, I think it was just 2 days ago, 87% of the American people agree that we should deport dangerous, illegal criminal aliens, and that's what we're going to do.
Country, feelings towards undocumented immigrants and deporting all of them have become considerably more hawkish, and I think that gives Donald Trump much more leverage to go with the American people and sort of have these hawkish, some might say harsh, different rhetoric and also issue-based sort of going after immigrants who are here illegally. And so I think the American people are going to give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt to do what he wants to do, at least if you believe these blunt questions, including this one.
Liberals are going to liberal, right? It seems like the left is very quiet recently. I don't see as much fight as I used to see from 8 years ago. And as you guys know, illegal immigration is coming out again. Trump has removed Biden's executive order that gives the definition of undocumented person or whatever they were using. Unwelcome guest is more my terminology for illegals. But, you know, I digress. The Lincoln-Riley Act passed and is heading to Trump's desk for its signature. More people voted for this law. Hey, it passed with a 263 to 156 vote, right? So it's headed to Trump's desk. Trump is hitting the ground running. It's like, what, 4 days into this administration? 3 days into the administration, technically. On Wednesday, the House passed the Lincoln-Riley Act in a 263 to 156 vote, sending the bill to Trump's desk for his signature. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise says that Wednesday, today we're going to send to President Trump's desk his very first bill to sign into law. 46 Democrats joined them and voted for the bill, while 156 Democrats voted against it. This comes after the Senate passed the bill in a 64 to 35 vote. The amended version of the bill requires another vote from the House to pass. Earlier in January, the House passed the unamended version with a vote of 265 to 159. The act was named after the Georgia nursing student, we all know the story, who was killed by a Venezuela illegal. And as you saw from the intro, her name, Kristen Welker, was trying to make this argument that, oh my God, it's going to cost upwards to $88 billion to deport illegals out of the United States of America, right? And she said, how are you guys planning to pay for it? And you know, I always talk about how the hypocrisy of these people, that they want to worry about so much about cost, but they don't worry about the cost that Americans are paying right now. Illegal immigration cost U.S. taxpayers $150 billion last year. New York City spent $5.2 billion on migrant care. Chicago's ending its new arrival mission amended budget shortfall amidst the budget shortfall. Imagine, I think for the illegals, it was like 988. It was almost $1 billion that Chicago spent by itself as a municipality trying to maintain illegals in their jurisdiction. New York mayor backpedals on stance on deporting criminals. I don't know when this article was made, but I'm using this article as an example of, hey, what's cheaper? Deporting people and no longer having to spend 80. Like, think about it. Let's say Trump get his way and he's able to deport every illegal out of this country. That's a cost that's not reoccurring. But this is a reoccurring cost. So would you want to spend $88 billion one year so you spend a significantly less the next? This is the efficiency that many people are talking about. But Kristen Walker, well, how she phrased the question? Oh, how are you going to pay for all this? But they never asked the Democrat, why should Americans continue paying $150 billion to maintain illegals in this country who broke the law to be here? Do you think it sends a good message, a good incentive to reward people who break your laws with government care, luxurious hotels, food stamps? Do you think that's a good incentive structure to disincentivize people from breaking our borders, our border laws, and coming over the country. It's not. And the left has been like just in spiraling, right? And this is not. I'm not only going to cover illegal. I'm also going to talk about DEI. Trump rescinded LBJ's affirmative action executive order, which is hopefully needed, because I'm tired of these liberals pretending that black people can't be successful without affirmative action. Like, it's ridiculous. Black people were successful without affirmative action. After affirmative action, it seems like more black dropout rates. It seemed like it made a detrimental effect, because you started adding people who necessarily wasn't qualified to be in college in the first place. This is one of the arguments that conservatives put out about affirmative action, that it creates a mismatch. You're going to set up a kid to fail. You're going to put him in a school where academically he cannot compete effectively, and it will increase black dropout rates. If you look at historical data before affirmative action and after affirmative action, you'll see that. Thomas Sowell covered that, did a study on affirmative action. He had observed the same effect. But these people still believe in DEI. Go make arrests. Trump's mass deportation are underway. Tom Homan. Trump also passed and signed an executive order where he's sending 1,500 troops to the southern border, further disincentivizing more people from coming. Because end of the day, if you want to see how the conservatives are seeing the border issue, they're seeing this as a cost. Hey, the more illegals that come to this country, the bigger taxpayers have to pay to maintain them in the country. And this should be an open and shut case. Majority of Americans support mass deportation. Majority support of Americans want criminal illegals that broke a second law in this country to be deported. But what are the people on news media trying to do? They're trying to give illegals advice to evade arrest. You don't believe me? Take a look.
What advice, immediate advice, can you give them to kind of help with the fear and to help give them some tools for here's what I can do if I'm approached?
Absolutely. One of the very first things that we educate people is, what are your rights when you are encountering an ICE agent or even just law enforcement? Most of the time when people encounter ICE agents, it's usually 70 to 75% of immigration arrests happen after a law enforcement arrest. So the most average immigrant in the United States is not out committing crimes. But if they were in a collateral situation at the wrong place at the wrong time, we usually advise them to know to identify at least if there is a judicial warrant that is presented, that is signed by a judge, issued in a state court or a federal district court, that basically gives federal agents the authority, whether they consent or not, to enter the United States. That document can be slipped under the door, pressed against the window. If it's an administrative document that says Department of Homeland Security on it, they can say, I do not consent to you entering my home. They can say, I would like to speak to an attorney. There's a lot of things that we teach and share with the community so that they can best protect themselves and maintain family unity. If there is an unfortunate situation where an arrest does happen, we make ourselves available immediately to help out.
Yeah, so this is why the left is freaking out. As you guys can see my screen, Trump declared a national emergency at the border, right? He ended the CB1 app, immigration app, moments after taking office. Turn back now, right? Many illegals are self-deporting, right? It sounds like a win. Sounds like a great time we're having here. Sounds like he's promises made, promises kept. The left has been freaking out about a lot of stuff. Let's go through it. So Lincoln Riley Act passed, right? Democrats are trying to stall Donald Trump's cabinet picks from being nominated, right? I'm just giving you the rundown because the left is freaking out right now. The left has to force to propagandize to make us feel more sympathetic for immigrants being deported, about how unborn are children now. The left don't know what to do anymore, bro. This is a tactic I point out about many liberals, right? They always want to take an argument when it's convenient for them, right? Because to me, the liberal is the eternal critic. The liberal is at its most comfortable when it's criticizing something. That's the liberal. Trump pardons Ross Ulbricht, I think that's how you say his name, slam scum that worked to convict him. The left freaking out over that. Trump also put requirements on NBC, CBS back in the hot seat after new FCC chair reinstate complaints. Sheesh. Liberals are pissed off about that. I can keep going down the line. The View struggles with Trump's return to the White House. I would play a clip from The View, but many people say they don't like seeing The View, so at least you guys know the knowledge that they're freaking out to. Trump suspended all U.S. foreign aid spending for 90 days. Promises made, promises kept. because he wants to reevaluate this. Conservatives see this as deep state money for long. Many conservatives, actually, many Americans see foreign aid spending as a way for politicians to launder money. That's the facts. That, like, let me know in the comment section if you disagree with that framing. That many Americans, I would argue, believe that foreign aid is nothing more than a money laundering scheme for politicians to enrich themselves. And you got liberals, you saw the clip, freaking out, right? Here's the breaking news. Trump has signed an executive order rescinding LBJ's executive order, which established affirmative action and banned all federal contractors and publicly funded universities from practicing race-based discrimination, including DEI. I've been saying this a long time on this channel, that DEI is racism under new management. You don't believe me? Let's go to my mentor, Thomas Sowell, at least in my mind. The 14th Amendment provides for equal rights and equal protections of the law. If you want more than that, then you're no longer talking about rights, but asking about special privileges. Doesn't that sound like DEI? Let me know in the comment section. Because people who advocate for DEI, they talking about, oh, woke is empathy. Nah, it's manipulation. It's weaponized empathy, right? The end result of 15 years of identity politics and DEI is raising white consciousness in America. Congrats. What? Who equates consciousness with a skin color? Only a racist. So y'all still don't believe this is why the left is furious. Because people finally caught on to their game. People finally caught on to their. You think I'm lying? Okay. This is why the left is mad. I shown this clip before on my channel about this black woman. She's racist. This is racism. Because end of the day, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. If you have a prejudice or you discriminate against someone because of the color of their skin, you're a racist. I don't care if you happen to be a black racist. This is racism. Because we know damn sure if there was a fat white lady saying these things about black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, Indian people, I can keep going. Y'all will have outrage. But because she's a fat black woman, y'all want to give her a pass. What a racist thing to do. Because there's this racist idea that black people can't be racist because of their skin color. Make it make sense. People who has never been a slave, people who have not experienced racism at the same level as Martin Luther King, they just happen to share the same skin color as Martin Luther King. So all of a sudden, they get like some type of moral high ground by default because of their skin color. Get the F out of my face. This is what DEI has created. DEI has created more racial division and more. It has done more damage to our unity since the Obama years. Before Obama got into the reason why Obama ended up becoming the first non-white president, the first biracial president of the United States of America, is because people were coming together. People didn't care about skin color at that point in 2007. But after Obama, this stuff went off the rails. And I see identity politics as nothing more than a means to divide the American populace so we don't hold our elites accountable. That's just my thoughts. So let's take a look at why DEI was banned, why many people can't stand DEI, why many people think DEI is racism under new management, because this lady is going to make a very good pundit example for why DEI is racism.
All white people are racist. So I put this up because
saying all white people are racist is like me saying all black men are criminals. And based on the evidence, based on some polls, based on surveys, Hispanic people say black people are more likely to be racist. Asian people say black people are more likely to be racist. Black people say black people are more likely to be racist. White people say black people are more likely to be racist. Black people say white people are more likely to be racist. So if three different racial groups says one racial group is more likely to be racist, who wins that argument? But here you are proving the polls correct. I digress.
I really want any white person in the room to know up front that this is what we're dealing with, that it's not going to be this coddling of white tears and what that looks like. We're not going to.
So framing things in race, that's racism. White tears? Huh? Human beings cry. Human beings have consciousness. So are white people like subhuman? Look at I'm done. I'm not listening to this crap. Delano Squires, This is the type of garbage our elites were pushing in universities, governments, agencies, churches, Fortune 500 companies. Stevie Wonder can see where this was going. You can't sow Robin DiAngelo and then act surprised when you reap Richard Spencer. Yeah, makes sense. If you give racial hostility, you're going to get racial hostility back. If you're going to push discrimination, you're going to get discrimination back. You're like, this is my thing. This is what I was thinking with these DEI people and liberals. They wanted to create discrimination, so then when they get discrimination back, it's almost like they're creating their own demand, right? They're creating their own problem so they can run against. Typical politics. The executive order just demanded the end of affirmative action in federal government. Affirmative action equals racial preferences. Isn't that what we complain white privilege to be about? This is why liberals are outraging now, because Donald Trump is following through with what he promised the American people. Promises made, promises kept. Pissing them off, right? Remember I told you the story, Trump froze foreign spending for 90 days. Here's Glenn Greenwald. Ukraine's chief army psychologist was arrested Tuesday on charges of stealing $1 million in foreign war aid. He bought apartments, buildings, BMWs, and $150,000 at home. And no wonder Dems and McConnell called Ron Paul a Kremlin agent for wanting an audit. Imagine. One politician say, hey, we should audit the money and see where it goes. And all the people in Congress hope and hollering. Another reason why the left isn't happy with Trump right now is that he highlights the problem with global warming, right? You see the LA fires. I'm unfortunately to report that the LA fire, another new fire erupted again and is currently burning 1,000 acres of California land right now. At this point, if they don't do something about this, California is going to be under fire. It's going to be a barren wasteland at this point. But the left wants to blame global warming for their inadequacies, for their lack of ability. And this is a great quote from Walter E. Williams, right? And this is the funny part. A lot of black Democrats will come in my comment section and say, "Oh, you're trying to appease your white audience. Oh, you must have learned it from a white man, all this information. This is whitewashing," whatever they want to call it. And the funny part is, the main reason I ended up becoming conservative is because of black men, because of a black man taught me this. My dad was the first Republican I ever met in my life. Then I read books like Thomas Sowell, Walter E. Williams, Larry Elder. It was a wrap. After those three, it's a wrap. Those three people made me a conservative. When I read about Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, I was like, yeah, I think Booker T. Washington's approach is a better approach for the prosperity of the black community. Stop worrying about politics. Politics is not going to do much for your community. Worry about the human capital. Worry about us being more resourceful. Worry about us creating value in this country, then we'll get our respect. But trying to get value through politics is fleeting and superficial. And look, that's been the playbook of the current black community. The current black community has been chasing political power, and what has it gotten the community? We're still at the bottom. We're still falling behind financially, socially, economically. We got Sexy Red as a role model for our young women. And you think we're better than we were with Martin Luther King's time? From a people's perspective, from a community's perspective. During Martin Luther King's time, Martin Luther King was a third generation college graduate. Now in 2025, you'll be surprised to hear a black person say, yeah, I'm a second generation, third generation college graduate. They'll think you're a privileged black person. When that used to be the norm during King's time, during Martin Luther King's time. Make it make sense. When America was at its worst, black people was at its best. Now America's at its best, black people's at its worst. Why? Because they believe the liberal messaging. But I'm not here to lecture about the problems of the black community. The global warming scare has provided a field day for politicians and others who wish to control our lives. After all, only the imagination limits the kind of laws and restrictions that can be written in the name of saving the planet. Walter E. Williams. Bro, we had some smart people. But if you ask the average black American, they don't know who Thomas Sowell is, Walter Williams is. They barely know who Larry Elder is. This is why the left is mad. Some of the things that the liberals are mad about. The liberals are now mad that anytime they throw any kind of criticism at Trump, we look at them and say, well, you did it first. Trump's going to weaponize the DOJ. Well, he put an executive order saying that he can't do that. So he handcuffed himself from doing that. And you did it first. So you get to prosecute your political opponents, but then when your political opponents are in the same position they're not supposed to, this is what I'm talking about with the Democrats. Democrats, they message like narcissists. You do everything for their benefit, but the minute something's not convenient or in their favor, you're supposed to do what's best on their behalf. That's how the Democrats and liberals operate, honestly. Don't tell me truths or facts are inconvenient to my worldview because it hurts my feelings. That's how the Democrats are coming across right now. And the leftists, they seemed, I don't know, demoralized almost, right? This is, it's crazy. It's crazy what winning an election does to the liberal, right? Because this is what conservatives had to deal with for the past 4 years. But the conservatives didn't sit and complain. They pointed out, hey, this is where we disagree. This is where we think Biden's going the wrong way. The left didn't care. Now all of a sudden Trump's in office. Now you got people coming into the Capitol protesting. Antifa's rearing its ugly head again. They only. This is my problem with liberals, and then I'll end it off here. Liberals only want to pay attention when Republicans are in power. But when their people are in power, they ignore. So then when the conservatives come to them and say, oh, look, Joe Biden did this, Joe Biden did that. Joe Biden said that inflation was transitory, but it wasn't. The liberal don't even know what you're talking about because the liberal wasn't paying attention. All he knew was, a Democrat's in power now? Ooh, okay, I could. And then they don't pay attention. While with conservatives, it don't matter if Republicans are in power, Democrats are in power, we're paying attention. And I think that's the economy that is missing right now in our politics is that Democrats, y'all need to wake up. Y'all need to do some self-reflection. Y'all can't keep doing the same damn thing over and over again and expecting a different result because that is insanity. But I think I had this talk already. So I'll leave it there. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, what you guys are thinking. What do you think about Trump's first 100 days so far? Is it trending in the good direction, bad direction? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video. Don't forget to share. It helps me out. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.